The Avatar, The Return of the Ancients and the Future of America represents Jonathan Cahn's latest prophetic exploration, serving as a direct sequel to his best-selling work The Return of the Gods. Released in September 2025, this audiobook continues Cahn's signature approach of connecting ancient biblical mysteries to contemporary world events, particularly focusing on the spiritual forces he believes are shaping modern America and global politics. Cahn introduces the concept of avatars, not in the modern digital sense, but as ancient spiritual manifestations where humans become living embodiments of gods or spiritual forces. Drawing from Hindu tradition and cross-cultural spiritual practices, he argues that these avatars have never left our world but have adapted to modern circumstances. Charisma Media. The audiobook opens with Cahn's vivid recounting of personal encounters across various nations. His harrowing experience on a foggy road between Agra and Delhi in India, where overturned vehicles mirrored Krishna's trickster mythology, serves as a compelling narrative hook. His account of sounding the shofar before 70,000 people, describing it as like a mass exorcism where people were screaming and the spirits fled, provides dramatic testimony to support his theological framework. Charisma Media. One of the most controversial aspects of the book is Cahn's analysis of contemporary political figures through biblical templates. He draws parallels between Donald Trump and the biblical King Jehu, both described as unpredictable, combative figures raised by God to confront anti-biblical agendas. Cahn argues that Trump is being used against the agenda of the gods, while cautioning that political figures are vessels, not ultimate solutions. Charisma Media. The author presents a stark warning about Western civilization's spiritual vacuum. Citing Jesus' teaching about cleansed spaces left empty allowing spirits to return with greater power, Cahn warns that any nation or civilization that empties itself of God, the gods are coming back. The spirits are coming back. He points to cultural events like controversial Olympic opening ceremonies as evidence of this spiritual shift. Charisma Media. Listeners consistently praise Cahn's thorough research methodology. One reviewer noted it as so thoroughly researched with references both secular and scriptural and explained so that anyone can understand. The work demonstrates Cahn's characteristic attention to historical detail and biblical scholarship. Audible reviews. The book successfully combines personal testimony, historical analysis, and prophetic interpretation into a cohesive narrative that maintains listener engagement despite complex subject matter. Cahn's ability to connect ancient patterns to current events resonates strongly with his target audience, providing a framework for understanding contemporary political and cultural developments through a spiritual lens. The work serves as both prophecy and education, helping listeners understand patterns between biblical history and modern events while encouraging deeper spiritual reflection. The Avatar builds directly upon themes established in The Return of the Gods, making it essential reading for those following Cahn's prophetic series. However, it stands as a more politically explicit work than some of his earlier writings, potentially broadening its appeal among those interested in contemporary political analysis while possibly narrowing its acceptance among those preferring purely spiritual content. The Avatar audiobook represents a significant addition to Jonathan Cahn's prophetic library, offering listeners a complex and controversial exploration of spiritual forces in contemporary politics. While the narrator change and pacing issues may affect some listeners' experience, the core content provides substantial material for reflection and discussion among those interested in prophetic interpretation of current events. The work succeeds in its primary goal of connecting ancient spiritual patterns to modern circumstances, though listeners should be prepared for explicitly political content that may challenge their comfort zones. For fans of Cahn's previous works, The Avatar offers a natural progression of his themes, while newcomers may find it more accessible to start with earlier books in his series. Recommendation: best suited for listeners already familiar with Cahn's interpretive framework and those comfortable with politically explicit spiritual analysis. The 8+ hour investment rewards patient listeners with thought-provoking content, despite some initial pacing challenges.